Wolverine is here in Fortnite, and man, he could be hard to find. If you didn't know, he walks around Weeping Woods, but there's no exact spawn. So, a noob would just walk around every corner of the forest trying to find him and take in forever. Well, 200 IQ Move would be turning on the Vision audio feature. It's literally a radar to finding him easily. Season 4 is sweaty, so in order for you to beat out the competition, Top 5 Gaming proudly presents 15 things only noobs do in Season 4 and how to easily get better. And don't forget to drop a like or else you'll get dumped on by TTV Timmy. Okay, let's start off with the Gauntlet Flying Trick. So rotations are one of the most important skills to learn in Fortnite, and in Season 4 there's an all-new rotation strategy that's easily the best we've ever had.
When us noobs find Iron Man's repulsor gauntlets, we tend to spam the flying abilities without putting much thought into how they're being used. This leaves us vulnerable when rotating. I mean, clearly they must be hacking if they can outplay me with the gauntlets. That is the only explanation!
Alright, not quite. Pros have learned that when paired with the crash pad, the repulsor gauntlets make for one of the best rotation strategies ever. To do this, simply throw a crash pad at the ground, use the gauntlets, and slowly glide down onto the pad. The distance you can cover with this strategy is mind-blowing. I mean, look. But next up, we have the car counter trick. So brand new vehicles have always meant there's a whole new level of things that Fortnite players are forced to learn. From using the cars to run over people and get across the map quickly, pros have left noobs in the dust once again.
When a noob sees a car headed straight for them, we tend to panic and place walls, which doesn't work out too great. Aha! Surely my 1x1 can stop a semi-truck.
So while building a wall might not be an effective strategy, you could actually just change it up a little and it will save your life and completely throw off your opponent. When a car is coming straight for you, simply edit a cone into a ramp and be ready to place it right before a car is about to run you over. If timed correctly, the car will launch right over your head. I mean, this trick is super helpful when needing to heal up or reset a fight. But next up, we have the passing meds trick. In the never-ending intensity that is squads in Fortnite, it's not often that you'll find yourself perfectly safe with your teammates. More often than not, you'll get separated from the rest of the team and find yourself in need of heals. It's situations like these where Fortnite pros really shine compared to noobs.
A lot of the time, us noobs will just straight up drop meds on the ground and assume that our teammates are gonna run over and get them. I mean, you have legs. You can walk, can't you? Just run over from your build or cover and grab an item. Easy peasy. Now, you might get beamed and die, but no biggie. Us noobs practically live in the pregame lobby anyway.
No. If you find yourself doing this, how do you improve? Well, pros on the other hand will usually just throw heals to their teammate, but what if your teammate is really far away? Well, we've recently learned that you could actually combine both throwable healing items with, wait for it, a crash pad. I mean, it's a perfect solution that you should definitely keep in mind next time you press to quickly chuck some heals to your sweaty teammates in need. The Finding Wolverine trick. So finding Wolverine in Fortnite could sometimes feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Being the fastest boss in the game means he could pretty much be anywhere, so you've got to learn the best strategies for finding him first. I mean, this guy can start running at you from miles away. It's freaking terrifying.
As a newbie, I tend to wander around Weeping Woods and the surrounding areas aimlessly, hoping to get lucky enough to find Wolverine. This is a really bad strategy as it's purely based on luck and usually doesn't work out like I hope. I'll be there for ages and someone else ends up getting Wolverine's claws before I can even find him. Every time. I hate it here. No.
But pros have adapted to Wolverine's rarity by turning on the visual audio setting and gliding above Weepy and Slurpy. As long as Wolverine is within 100 meters of your position, this will act as a literal compass guiding you to his exact location. Works like a charm. Coming up next, we have the Crash Pad Drop. The addition of crash pads has to be one of the most game-changing updates to Fortnite in a while. This one item has limitless possibilities, making it one of the most versatile items ever. Because of this, it's all the more painful to see noobs not using crash pads to their fullest potential. So, take some notes.
When us noobs find a crash pad, you can almost guarantee that we'll just throw it down randomly and use it for literally any reason to bounce around or to get away from the store. Sometimes I just use them because it's fun to bounce around and feels faster than walking. Whee! What a waste, right?
But when a pro finds a crash pad, pay attention to when and how it's used. Rather than plopping it down and hopping on it without any thought, pros will place a cone off of someone's box in which a crash pad is inside. From there, they could perfectly drop onto it and get that perfect boost. The Boogie Bomb Box Trick. Being boogie bombed is easily one of the most frustrating things in Fortnite as you're left completely vulnerable, unable to defend yourself. That is, unless you're playing against a noob who immediately starts to shoot when you're dancing.
When a noob finally manages to land a boogie bomb on an enemy, you'll often see that we just start spraying and praying so we can secure the easy peasy elimination. This doesn't work out too often, as the dance animation is stopped and enemy can once again fight back. I mean, whoever thought the enemy would be able to fight back? This is madness!
So, after successful boogie bombing an enemy, pros will immediately build around them so that they have nowhere to run and can't build away, even once they've stopped dancing. This ensures that even if you don't one-pump your enemy, you'll have piece control for an easy cleanup. Coming up next, we have the instant shield trick. When Epic added cars to Fortnite, they actually added brand new physics to the Slurpee trucks that can be found around the map. These physics actually make it possible to instantly get 100 shields in literally 1 second.
By now, even noobs know that slurp trucks are the best option for refilling your shields. The problem is that our method just isn't the best. Us noobs usually just walk up to the slurp truck and swing away with our pickaxe until we're full on shields. Sometimes it works, sometimes it ends up leaving us vulnerable and wasting precious time.
Alright, but when the Joyride update came out, pros quickly realized that hitting the front of the slurp truck actually messes with its physics and it will cause the truck to move backwards. This will instantly explode the slurp-filled trailer and top off your shields in less than a second. Definitely keep this in mind the next time you see one. The instant supply drop trick. Despite them being a great tool, many players often avoid going out of their way to secure a supply drop because they feel it's not worth the risk. And they're right, the noobs often prove their point with these simple mistakes.
When us noobs spot a supply drop, we're usually quick to drop whatever it is that we're doing and shift focus to securing that sweet, sweet loot. Problem is, we end up waiting around for that drop to land, hypnotized by the, shiny loot, which typically results in an easy elimination for anybody in the area. Man, I hate those campers. Stop camping. That's my job.
While the noobs are getting caught in their little boxes, the pros have learned strategies for securing supply drops. When you aim it right, Thor's hammer will instantly pop the balloon carrying the loot. This tactic can also be replicated with Iron Man's Unibeam, giving you multiple options for quickly and quietly getting the loot that you need fast. It's super useful. The Mystical Bomb Phase Trick. So as Fortnite gets more and more competitive, pros are constantly finding new tricks and strategies for countering that noob who's always hiding in a box. With the new mythic abilities in Season 4, the latest box phasing strategy involves Dr. Doom's Mystical Bomb.
When a noob is lucky enough to find the mystical bomb, we tend to just randomly yeet it at an enemy we see without putting much thought into how it's being used. Kind of like grenades. And maybe it's a huge waste of time and potential for how you could really use the bomb, but I wouldn't know.
Big ball, go boom. Very epic.
Meanwhile, the pros have found a strategy which uses the RPG cone trick and mystical bomb and allows for a super satisfying phase into any player's box. Once you get this one down, you'll be the biggest brain in your squad. Next up, we have the no fall damage mythic trick. Alright, let's be real. Gravity can be your worst enemy in Fortnite. Even the pros have fallen victim to the effects of gravity, which usually leads to some of the more embarrassing moments possible. This is why we've taken the time to compile all the best ways to avoid fall damage, saving both your life and your dignity.
When a noob gets a mythic ability, which is pretty much never, we usually just spam it as much as possible during a fight, hoping that it'll help secure the epic victory royale. Instead, what usually happens is that the abilities will destroy our own builds and cause us to fall to our untimely death, which is not epic.
Alright, pros are using these abilities to their fullest potential. Instead of using Thor's hammer to destroy builds, we're using it in a defensive and strategic way. By simply activating the ability just before you hit the ground, you completely lose momentum and save yourself from being eliminated. You could also do this with Storm's ability. The Vault Chest Trick. So the vaults are, in my opinion, one of the most underrated changes in Chapter 2. The pros are still learning the best strategies for utilizing vaults to this day, and I bet most of you never even thought that there were better ways to loot a vault. I mean, did ya?
When a noob gains access to the vault, we immediately choose a chest and take our sweet time to sort through all the loot. Heck yeah. This would be fine in other locations, but with the amount of time it takes to go through every chest, it's often that we get eliminated before we're even finished looting.
Pros have evolved vault looting and know how bad it is to be caught in one of these death traps. Because of this, you'll often see pros spamming cones in the vault. This will open a ton of chests and ammo boxes and let you just run through, pick up a ton of loot without wasting time. It's extremely useful for those who want to get in and out without making a scene or getting caught with your pants down. Next up on the video, we have the crash pad wall replace trick. Alright, look, you get my point. I've said many times that crash pads are insanely useful in literally as many situations as you could name. But I can't stress enough the amount of ways to use these things that noobs just end up ignoring.
You can always tell that a player is a noob if they only use the crash pads to run away from or chase another player. While this is a decent way to use them, and probably why Epic made them in the first place, there is so much more we should be using it for. But hey, there's an enemy coming, so I'm gonna run for my life now. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Well, pros have developed an interesting strategy when you could throw a crash pad at another player's wall, but instead of exploiting in, you could actually just replace it. To do this, simply throw a crash pad at the opponent's wall and immediately jump to the side of their box while holding your walls. If done right, you'll be able to replace the opponent's wall every time, regardless of your ping, which is huge. Not gonna lie, this one is super overpowered, so make sure to get it mastered before everyone starts using it, or Epic Games removes it. The Porta-Potty Trap. The porta-potties that are scattered around the map can make for some seriously impressive plays when used correctly. But do us all a favor and keep this one a secret, because it's super annoying to play against.
When a noob goes through a porta-potty, we kinda just wait on the other side with our weapon in hand, hoping that the enemy will follow us so we can just ambush them with a shotgun. This isn't the best way to do things if you have terrible aim like me, and the worst is when they destroy your porta-potty. Hey, I wasn't done in here, you know.
Instead, pros will bait enemies into following them through the porta-potty, but instead of just waiting with the weapon, we'll throw a gas can, maybe a fire trap down for a super clean ambush. This allows you to put in an extra 50 damage with a trap guaranteeing you the elimination. It's OP. But like I said, maybe this is definitely a little bit more newbie. The Bouncer Shockwave Trick. Inventory management is another one of those skills that a lot of players don't even consider developing. I mean, what's there to learn? You just pick up the weapons you want and keep a few heals on hand, right? Well, not really.
When a noob has shockwave grenades and a bouncer in their inventory, we'll usually just use one or the other, and even then I end up launching myself into the zone. Something tells me there's a better way to do it.
So combining these two items can make an insane difference in your games and lets you disengage from fights and can be incredible for rotating. Simply place a ramp and then a bouncer on it. Now use a shockwave grenade at the same time as walking into the bouncer, and if done correctly, you'll find yourself literally soaring through the skies like an eagle. And finally, our number one spot, the OP PORTA-FORT tricks. The PORTA-FORT was such a useful addition to the game when it was first added. Nowadays, however, it's not that exciting to fight a player with one, as they tend to just waste it or throw it down whenever they want.
Us noobs will almost always use a PORTA-FORT in a panic. Then we have no other option but to throw it down and hide. From there, we'll usually heal up and camp in it until a pro comes along and sends us rolling back to the lobby.
Pros will use porta-forts in a way that is much more useful. They can actually be used for a variety of things, including replacing enemies' walls in mere seconds, saving you from fall damage, and protecting yourself while rebooting a teammate. It's a really underrated item, so make sure to hold on to these things when you find them. But hey, if you learned anything and want more pro tips, hit the subscribe button right now.
I know I did.
And here's another video. This has been Tommy.
And this has been Sam.
And keep it right here on Top 5 Gaming.